Victor, Hungary is blocking aid to Ukraine while Russia bombs our cities. You are helping Putin kill Ukrainians.
Vladimir, I am protecting Hungary's interests. This is not our war. We will not sacrifice Hungarian lives for your conflict.
Then you are not a European. You are Putin's puppet.
Good evening. Tonight, two leaders from neighboring countries face each other in what has become Europe's most bitter dispute. President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine, a wartime leader fighting for his nation's survival against Russian invasion. Prime Minister Viktor Orban of Hungary, the EU's most pro-Russian leader, blocking aid to Ukraine and maintaining ties with Putin. Hungary and Ukraine share a border. They should be allies. Instead, they are adversaries. Orban blocks EU sanctions on Russia. He blocks military aid to Ukraine. He vetoes Ukraine's NATO and EU membership, and he calls Zelensky's resistance suicidal. For the next 12 minutes, watch as they debate the future of Europe, sovereignty, and survival. No diplomacy, no restraint. Just raw conflict. Prime Minister Orban, Ukraine is fighting for survival. Russia has killed tens of thousands of Ukrainian civilians, destroyed entire cities, and kidnapped Ukrainian children. The European Union voted to provide $50 billion in aid to help Ukraine defend itself. Every EU member supported it, except you. You blocked it. Why are you obstructing aid to a country fighting for its freedom against brutal aggression? 1 minute.
I am not obstructing anything. I am protecting Hungary's national interests. This $50 billion is not aid. It is a blank check with no accountability. Where does this money go? Who controls it? Zelensky's government is not transparent. Corruption in Ukraine is well documented. We cannot give billions without guarantees. Also, this money does not end the war. It prolongs it. Every dollar, every weapon we send means more Ukrainians die, more Russians die, more destruction. The only solution is negotiation, not escalation. But Zelensky refuses to negotiate. He demands total victory, which is unrealistic. Hungary will not participate in this war. We will not send weapons. We will not send soldiers. We will not sacrifice Hungarian interests for a conflict that is not ours. We have our own problems: inflation, energy crisis, economic challenges. Hungarian people come first, not Ukrainian ambitions. And let's be honest, this war was avoidable. If Ukraine had negotiated neutrality with Russia, none of this would have happened. But no, Ukraine wanted NATO membership, provoked Russia, and now expects Europe to pay for it. We will not.
Victor, every word you just said is a lie. Let me address them one by one. First, corruption. Yes, Ukraine had corruption problems past tense. Since 2022, we've arrested corrupt officials, fired judges, reformed institutions. We're fighting two wars, one against Russia, one against corruption, and we're winning both. International auditors monitor every dollar of aid. Your accusations are Putin's propaganda, not facts. Second, prolonging the war. You know what prolongs the war? Russia refusing to leave Ukrainian territory. We didn't invade Russia. Russia invaded us. They bomb our cities, rape our women, kidnap our children. And you say we should negotiate. Negotiate what? Surrendering our land, our freedom. Would you negotiate if Russia invaded Hungary? No, you would fight. So don't lecture us about realism. Third, not your war. Victor, you are in the European Union. You are in NATO. You took an oath to defend democratic values and collective security. Russia is 200 kilometers from Hungary's border. If Ukraine falls, Moldova falls next, then Poland, then you. This is your war. You're just too cowardly to admit it. Fourth, avoidable if we stayed neutral. We were neutral before 2014. Russia invaded anyway, Crimea, Donbass. Neutrality didn't protect us. It made us weak. The only thing Russia respects is strength. That's why we need NATO. That's why we need EU membership. That's why we need weapons, and you block it all. Why? Because you are bought by Russia. Russian gas, Russian oil, Russian money, You care more about cheap energy than Ukrainian lives. You are not protecting Hungary. You are betraying Europe.
President Zelensky, Ukraine applied for EU and NATO membership. Most European countries support you. But Hungary has veto power. And Orban uses it. He blocks your path to both organizations. Without NATO, you have no security guarantee. Without the EU, you have no economic future. How do you deal with one man holding your country's fate hostage? 1 minute.
It is absurd. One country, one man can block the will of 30 NATO members and 26 EU members. This is not democracy. This is tyranny of the minority. We are doing everything right. We reformed our military to NATO standards. We fight corruption. We strengthen democracy even during war. We've proven we can defend Europe. We stopped Russia when many predicted we'd fall in 3 days. But Orban blocks us for petty reasons. Hungarian minority rights in Ukraine, which we already protect. He demands special status for ethnic Hungarians. We gave it. He demands more. It's never enough. Because his real goal isn't protecting Hungarians, it's pleasing Putin. How do we deal with it? We work around him. We build bilateral security agreements with France, UK, Germany, Poland. We join EU structures that don't require unanimity. We make Orban irrelevant. And when this war is over, Europe will remember who stood with Ukraine and who stood with Russia. History will judge.
Zelensky calls me irrelevant, but I have the power to block his dreams. So who is really irrelevant? Let me explain why I block Ukraine's NATO and EU membership. NATO membership means Hungary would be obligated to defend Ukraine militarily, to send Hungarian soldiers to die in a war that is not ours. No, Hungarian mothers will not lose their sons for Zelensky's ambitions. EU membership requires meeting strict criteria: rule of law, economic stability, anti-corruption. Ukraine fails all three. They are at war, their economy is destroyed, corruption is endemic. Admitting Ukraine now would destabilize the EU. We cannot lower our standards just because Zelensky demands it. And yes, Hungarian minority rights matter. 150,000 ethnic Hungarians live in Western Ukraine. They face discrimination, language restrictions, education limits. Zelensky claims he protects them. Lies. We demand real autonomy, real protections. Until then, no membership. But the real issue is this: Ukraine is a geopolitical pawn. The West wants Ukraine in NATO to encircle Russia. This provokes Russia, guarantees endless conflict, and drags Europe into war. I refuse to participate in this madness. Hungary will remain neutral, sovereign, and safe.
Prime Minister Orban, you've met with Vladimir Putin multiple times since the war began, including in July 2024 in Moscow. Every other EU leader refuses to meet Putin while he bombs Ukraine. You hugged him. You praised him. You called him a great leader. You buy Russian gas while Ukraine begs for weapons. Zelensky says you're Putin's puppet. Are you? 30 seconds.
I am not Putin's puppet. I am Hungary's leader. My job is to protect Hungarian interests, not follow Brussels' orders. We need Russian energy to survive. We cannot afford Western energy prices. Meeting Putin does not make me his puppet. It makes me a pragmatic leader who negotiates for his people.
Pragmatic? Pragmatic! Victor, you meet Putin while his missiles kill Ukrainian children. You shake his hand while his soldiers rape Ukrainian women. You smile for cameras while Russia commits genocide. That's not pragmatism. That's complicity. Every other EU country found alternatives to Russian gas. Poland did it. Lithuania did it. Germany did it. The biggest economy in Europe. They paid higher prices temporarily, but they kept their principles. You chose cheap gas over Ukrainian lives. And you know what's insane? Hungary is in the EU. You take billions in EU subsidies, more than any other country per capita. EU money funds your roads, your schools, your economy. But when the EU asks you to stand with Ukraine, you say no. You take our money, then stab us in the back. You are not a pragmatic leader. You are a dictator wannabe who admires Putin because you want to be like him. President for life, no opposition, control over media. That's why you support him, not for Hungarian interests, for your own power. Europe sees you, Victor. You are isolated, you are despised, and when Russia loses this war, and they will lose, you will lose too. History will remember you as the European leader who chose Putin over democracy.
We now enter direct exchange. Each of you will ask the other one hard question. President Zelensky, you begin.
Victor, simple question. If Russia invades Hungary tomorrow, bombs Budapest, kills Hungarian civilians, demands you surrender, will you negotiate neutrality like you tell us to do, or will you fight? And will you expect Europe to help you, even though you refuse to help us?
Russia will not invade Hungary. Why? Because we are smart. We maintain good relations with Russia. We don't provoke them. We don't join military alliances aimed at them. That's called diplomacy, Volodymyr. You should try it. But if, hypothetically, Russia did invade, yes, we would fight. And yes, I would expect NATO to defend us because we are in NATO. Unlike you, you chose not to join NATO before 2022. Now you want NATO protection retroactively. That's not how alliances work. The difference between us, Hungary protects itself through smart diplomacy. Ukraine destroyed itself through reckless provocation. You poked the Russian bear, and now you expect us to save you. No. Volodymyr, you rejected peace negotiations in March 2022 when Russia offered ceasefire. Boris Johnson told you to keep fighting, and you obeyed. Now 500,000 Ukrainians are dead. Was it worth it? Would Ukraine be in better position today if you had negotiated then?
That ceasefire was surrender, Victor. Russia demanded we give up Crimea, Donbass, disarm our military, and abandon NATO forever. That's not peace, that's capitulation. We would be a Russian puppet state, like Belarus. Is that what you want for Ukraine? Slavery? We fight because freedom is worth dying for, something you would never understand because you've never fought for anything except your own power.
Gentlemen, final statements, 30 seconds each. Prime Minister Orban, you begin.
Hungary will not sacrifice its people for Ukraine's war. We will not send weapons. We will not send soldiers. We will not destroy our economy with sanctions. We choose peace, neutrality, and prosperity. Europe can follow Brussels' orders and suffer, or follow Hungary's example and survive. The choice is yours.
Viktor Orban is not neutral. He is on Russia's side. He blocks aid. He blocks membership. He meets with Putin. He spreads Russian propaganda. When Ukraine wins this war, and we will win, Europe will remember who stood with freedom and who stood with tyranny. Orban chose tyranny. History will not forgive him. Slava Ukraini.
Two neighbors, two worldviews. One believes in neutrality and self-interest. The other believes in freedom and sacrifice. The future of Europe hangs in the balance. Thank you for watching.